Hello and welcome to episode 109 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so continuing with the overall theme of post exploitation activities, I'm actually going to be revisiting a previous exploitation that I conducted quite a few videos ago, and that's bypassing the user account control. But this time, I'm going to be targeting this exploitation using a memory injection, and I'm gonna cover what all of that is. But in my previous video, I basically I had used a custom payload created from the MSF Venom tool within the Metasploit framework, and also the multi-handler to establish a connection with the target to do a bypass of the user account control. So this time, again, I'm going to be using a different method to conduct the same type of exploitation. But before I move any further, want to preface this video by giving my usual disclaimer that this is for ethical research and educational purposes only, that any sort of malicious activity that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching this video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so to start off and give a high level overview of what UAC is. So UAC is actually short for, again, user account control, and that's a security features in Windows that helps prevent unauthorized changes to a computer by requiring confirmation for actions that need administrative privileges. So basically, an administrator or someone with administrative privileges would have to authorize someone to pull off of certain actions and will be notified when someone's trying to conduct certain actions. So we're going to bypass that by doing a memory injection. So when I say memory injection. So what I mean by that, it's a stealthy defense evasion technique used by attackers to execute malicious code within the address space of a legitimate running process. So this method allows the malicious code to operate with the same privileges and the same access, the same resources as a compromised process, making it difficult for security software to detect the activity. So we're going for a bit of evasiveness here, all right, and to avoid any sort of detection. Okay, so as you can see here, done quite a few things. So one, I've already got our target host here. So they are living at 10.3.18.132. All right, and I have already conducted a exploitation. Well, I haven't hit exploit yet, but I've already lined things up to compromise a Rigetto HTTP file server. All right, so I wanted to get to this up to this part so we don't have to go all the way through the exploitation phase again, because again I want to focus more on post exploitation. All right, so to get started, I'm just gonna type in exploit here to get us our meterpreter session, and let's get this guy out the way. All right. I know some days this thing it goes right away, and other things I have to drag it. Okay, all right, got it over there. All right. All right, so our meterpreter session is starting up here. All right, so let's do sysinfo. All right, so it looks like that I have a 32-bit session of a meterpreter with a 64-bit, 64-bit version of Windows Server 2012 revision 2, which in this case should be fine. So, well, no, actually, it shouldn't. So I'm going to migrate this. So I'm going to use that migration module that I used at the end of the last video. So let's background this. All right, and then I'm going to say use post and then Remember, we have a Windows target here, and then we want to manage our session, and then we're going to use the archmigrate um, module. Okay, and this is what's going to automate instead of me manually trying to go through the process tree and find a process that's running at 64-bit and gives me full system authority. I'm just going to automate that here. All right, so well, it may not necessarily give me full system authority, but it'll at least upgrade my interpreter session to 64 bits. All right, so I know. Let's see the show options. I believe I have this this session is the only thing I have to set here. Yes, it is. All right, so let's say set session. Now session is one. I only have one session going here. All right, so I'm going to run that. All right, so let's take a look here. Just jump back into our interpreter session, and let's verify that we indeed have migrated to a 64-bit session of interpreter. So I'm gonna say sysinfo, and we have our 64-bit version of interpreter going. All right, so let's see what my level of who am I logged in as, and then what my level of privileges are. All right, so I'm Vic admin. So remember this from the previous video. It's a regular user account, but it's within an admin group, so it inherits the privileges of that group. So I still do have admin privileges here. So I'm gonna say getprivs just to see the full. Um, Let me see. Forgot the S. Okay. All right. See, not a whole lot of privileges within it itself. So again, I'm not really an admin, but I believe I'm part of the admin group. So I still should be able to pull some actions off here. So I'm gonna say shell. All right. And so what I'm gonna do now is I want to see what other accounts are on our target host. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna say net users to be able to see that. All right, so we can actually see. All right, so here's admin. Then we can see the actual administrator account. So this is a completely different account, and that's more than likely that's the actual administrator. All right, and this is the user that I'm using, the admin account, and then of course we have a guest count here. Okay, so what I can do, I want to be able to verify that that my excuse me, that my account is at least as part of that administrator group, so I know I could be able to run certain commands before attempting to do it. All right, so I'm gonna say net local group, and I want to see if I'm part of the administrators group. And yes, it looks like that I am. So myself and the administrator, we are part of that administrators group, which is great. All right. So I'm going to terminate this shell session. So do a Ctrl C, tell it yes. And I'm also going to background this interpreter session as well. All right, just make sure that everything is still good with interpreter by doing sessions. Seeing we can see that's okay, so we can still see our session here. All right, so now I actually want to look for the bypass UAC tool here. All right, so I'm gonna say search. I don't know why it did something's up with like the history in my keyboard. I don't know. All right, search bypass UAC. All right, see, we got quite a few options here, but I want to look for the one that specifically deals with injection. All right, so it looks like it's number 5 here on the list here. We can see the description says Windows escalate UAC, meaning privilege escalation, UAC protection bypass, in-memory injection. Okay, so that's the tool that I'm going to use. So I'm going to say use 5. All right, and now let's see. Let's show the options to see what I may have to configure here. All right, so of course I'm gonna have to set my sessions, and then I also want to set a payload. So since I'm using a 64-bit session, I'm gonna try to use the 64-bit version. See if that works. Sometimes it could be moody and not work, but I'm gonna try to use the 64-bit version first, and if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna just set it to the 32-bit version. All right, so let's see. Let's set payload to Windows. Oops. 64-bit interpreter, then reverse TCP. Oops. Okay. All right, that's set. So I believe, oh yeah, now it looks like, let me see, I'm gonna set my L port. You know what? Yeah, I need to set my L port to another port because if I go back and look at sessions, let's go back up a little more, take a look. See, my current session's already running on port 444. So I'm gonna have to actually assign this to another session, to another L port. So I'm gonna say set L port, and we're gonna set it to 4433. All right, and then let's see. Let's set um set target. Let's see to Windows. Well, you know what? Yeah, because this is already, so if we look here, it's already set to 32 bits. So I'm gonna try to set it to 64 bits here. So um, well, no, that should work. See, just put 64. Okay. Okay, good. Looks like that worked. Okay. So let's say exploit, and let's see. So I should get a second interpreter session here. Okay. See, yeah, I didn't like that target. Let me see. I think it has something to do with my syntax as far as the spacing here. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, that was it. All right, looks like, yep, there we go. There's our second interpreter session. All right, so I'm gonna do sysinfo. All right, so got again still I have my 64 bit session with the 64 bit version of Windows Server 2012 revision 2. All right, so let's see getuid. Let's see if anything changed with my level of privilege. Nope, still victim admin, but the thing is now that UAC is now disabled in the second interpreter session. So that's what I was able to, if we look at here in the messaging, that's what I was able to do here. All right. So it says bypass UAC can bypass this setting, continuing. So it says ejecting a successful injecting payload to process 1436. So essentially what it did here, all right, when we see these deletions, all right, so basically it's disabled the user account control. All right, and this is how I'm able to bypass it by injecting this payload into the memory. So it's more of an automated process of what I did originally with the MS, with the instead of having to do it in a roundabout way, where I used it. I created a custom payload within MSF Venom, and then needed a multi-handler to then establish a connection. This is a more automated, more quicker way to conduct the same, a similar type of attack, where again another method of bypassing UAC. So now, way to prove that I bypassed UAC. Now I could do a get system before, and maybe I should have showed this before, but before I wouldn't have been able to get system. And now we can see that I'm victim admin. So when I do get UID again, now I should have full system authority. So let's say get system. All right. So that looked like they elevated my privileges. So I'm gonna say get UID again, and look at there, full system authority. All right. So that proves that I bypassed the user account um, um, user account access, excuse me, user access control. All right. Now something else I can do too. Now that I have these now I have full system authority privileges. Now I could do this. Now I could dump some credential hashes. Now that I have those, I'll be able to plug them into a application such as John the Ripper or Hashcat, and try to crack these credential codes. All right, and we have our NTLSs right here. But I would try to crack these credential codes to try to find the clear text credentials, and then based on what I find, try to either brute force whatever credentials I don't have, or what. No, I wouldn't even have to brute force it, because we have usernames here, so more than likely these are the passwords. So I would then just try to find a protocol to log in as one of these users besides admin, who I'm logged in as now. So anyway, so this again, so this is just showing another Windows-based post exploitation activity that could be done, and specifically one that allows us to bypass user access control by injecting a payload um, um, into the memory of our target host. So please like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless.